All right, morning everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Wednesday morning. All right, we are all waiting for Nvidia earnings tonight. If you're wondering why the market's sort of on hold at the moment, that's pretty much why. All right, people, that's why. Before we go any further, lots of you in here nice and early. Appreciate you being here. Can I ask you please smash that thumbs up like button on the stream? Let's get it done nice and early so we can do some giveaways again today. Yesterday we gave away a Lucid account. Today maybe we'll give away a My Funded Futures account. Okay, so what are we looking at on the daily? Well, the first thing I see straight away is we're an inside bar. All right, so this is the third day now, or the second day compressed. We're into the third day of the week. If we look at what we have, here's your Monday high, Monday low, Tuesday high, Tuesday low, so far Wednesday high, Wednesday low. All right, that is about as compressed as you can get right now. All right, so there's no follow through. If we just zoom this in, you'll see what I'm talking about. Right, we're not breaking out either side of the opening prints this week. All right, so if we say Monday at the moment has effectively set the initial balance for the week, and we're about the midpoint of it. All right, beyond that, we are struggling to get back inside this high volume node. So bears, you would say, have a bit of edge right now for downside pressure. All right, and maybe this market wants to come down here to these 800s. But at the moment, we're in a pause pattern until they can do that. And it's probably going to be, if we're going to do it, for earnings or after. If we think about, I'm just going to remind you, the cash gaps are still important right now. We have almost filled the whole of that gap. If you look at it, we pretty much went to wick yesterday, but not quite. That's the 700 level. That was the big level before. And spiders, I just put that on the wrong one. Thank you very much. All right, very similar, coming down for the RBS check, but there's still a gap here present in the spiders. All right, worth being aware of. Again, they are heavily compressed as well, but slightly more bullish on the spiders, I would say, not drifting back into this range down here. So back in the Qs, let's get all the way back. All right, so as a reminder, inside bar, trading outside 2026 point of control, high volume node. We're under the anchored view ups from both the all-time high and the pivot low in July, but we are not under the anchor from this low pivot from April, all right, which lines up absolutely perfectly with the put ball and the 28.830, which would, I'm sure, be a full gap fill. So that is an area I'm watching of interest. The other thing I want you to note is how tight the Bollinger Bands are getting. All right, as we've been here a long time, they are starting to travel down. We're probably going to see this. We're going to see all the EMAs compact, and then once we finish doing this, some giant move out of this will happen. It's what we do every time we go into contraction. All right, and it's probably going to come into Q4. When we look at the hourlies and we have a look at value, I'm just going to move this up. All right, you can see currently we are still trading outside of previous week's value. So last week, double distribution kind of week. All right, fairly standard for a weekly profile. 1, 2, thin in here. All right, this is last week's value area low. It's also previous days value area high and previous days value area low. So at the moment, what can we say? Well, we're rejecting. Right, we tried to trade inside, rejected it. Right, so we're losing value. We're migrating value lower at the moment. In terms of previous day, here's your previous day value. We're opening up underneath it. All right, so clear bearish edge or bearish tone to this market. The problem is your entry. All right, we are trading lower and lower and lower, and we are getting very tight. As you can see, I've drawn these out so you can see them this morning. All right, we are producing higher lows and a series of lower highs on the H1. We are getting very tight and coiled in here, and my anticipation is the market's going to wait for Nvidia. If you get very, very lucky today and they go risk off prior to Nvidia, maybe you get some kind of back test of 180 to 220 and you see follow through down to 29,000, and maybe if you got very, very, very lucky, we come into these 800s. I would be doubtful that we're going to see that today. All right, I would be somewhat, I'd say a 70% chance we stay somewhere in here, all right, and do a load of nonsense, and then on Nvidia, maybe it's a dip and rip, maybe it's a push and then a sell the next day, or maybe we just get going, or maybe we just dump the whole thing and then like we're done with this trade. Like the AI trades in problems, we've got debt issues, this circle jerking that we keep doing with each other needs to stop. I don't know, folks. Like, I'm not going to predict the market, But this is no doubt a liquidity building zone, so we need to be careful of that. When we think about gamma, we're actually opening up, starting to open up neg gamma today, unless we can get back above the 200. So that's your zero line. That's what I'm saying. That lines up pretty well with previous day point of control and previous day value area low. So if we do reject this area here, right, maybe there's some follow through down into your put wall level 1, and then maybe down here on a runner if you got very, very lucky. If that doesn't happen, right, if we don't reject this area, if there isn't a drive up to sell into this morning, if we come straight back into here, well, then we're probably going to do a whole lot of this. And guess what Alex is going to do? Absolutely F all. All right, I won't be trading that. You guys are welcome to trade it. I will be ignoring that with all my might. Okay, and if we get above that level, well, you want to be very careful of a failed breakout and a trade back downside again. But if they are able to start building here, they still have these drives up here available, just like yesterday. Remember, or was it Monday? Sorry, my bad. No, it was yesterday. All right, those drives up into these levels. There is still lots of resting liquidity here. Again, I doubt we go for that in the morning session, but who knows? I want you to be prepared. So this is my no trade zone. Under here, possible expansion down. Over here, possible expansion up. You need to be very careful of failed breakouts, and this will be the liquidity pool, which probably lures everyone in and traps them. So for me, I'm going to be very, very risk off today. Very, very careful. Do not want to give back anything. Okay, let's move to a 5 minute. Check out what's moving this market. Come over to ES. I will delete those lines in a minute. They were just put on to give you an idea of what's going on. Let's move this up. All right, you can see we're boxed in here. That's about as clear as you get on ES. We're completely boxed in, level to level to level. All right, so we've got some demand blocks underneath us, some supply box overhead, and we are pinned in. That is about as pinned in as you get. Opening up neutral in terms of gamma right now. Put wall, everything's pretty tight here. Put wall's just below at 72s. Neutral zone, or flip zone if you want to call it, is at 80s, 680s. Biggest call wall of the day right up at 715. So I don't think we need to worry about that unless we're able to base over 95s and break 700s. Then maybe you get that move. Otherwise, I think those are pinned for the earnings, not beforehand. All right, so again, not much edge here. If we move out, same kind of thing, right? We are building a huge amount of liquidity here. All right, we're thin underneath. If we lose that, we might finally get these back tests down here. But at the moment, building out, building out, building out, waiting for a macro event, which is going to be tonight, I'm sure. Okay, just have for you guys trading spiders, just so you can see it's the same kind of thing right now. We can probably pull this one down a bit, and we can do, move this up. All right, this is where you're boxed in. These are your levels, folks. Exactly the same. Lack of edge here. Range traders paradise maybe, but even then I think you're going to lack too much room. Qs. All right, this is your gap on the Qs. We almost filled all of it. Remember, 700 is basically to fill the whole gap. You are starting to lose the bid here. Bring this upside. And we are coming into that put wall level 1. If we lose that, you can see the big one is in that gap fill. We can flip this. I don't know why that is not been flipped over. All right, crude. Sold off. Rumors of a deal being done. Those started yesterday. They took a while to actually circulate, but rumors of a deal being close. I believe it when I see it, folks. How many times have I said that? I mean, we're still trading above 80. If we zoom out here on an hourly, right, nothing's really changed. I'd be very aware of an undercut and go. All right, but at the moment, they couldn't hold the base. They've come back inside. I'd be careful of an undercut and bid, but if they undercut and stay heavy and the deal is done, maybe this thing rolls over. Obviously, that will help inflationary pressure. VIX stays compact here, waiting for news tonight. Again, this went over it yesterday. We see this all the time. Out of stuff like this comes the rip. Out of stuff like this comes the rip. All right, they've priced it in. They're ready for it. I just wonder if they wait until the new month, but there will be fireworks tonight. I've got no doubt about it. Dollar as well, starting to get up back up towards this over under, and this is yellow lines, your big level. All right, so they're trying to bid this back up. We'll see how we react if and when we get back up there. All right, broader market, mags. Let's move to a 5 minute here. Again, pretty much in range, gapping up slightly today. If we can hold over this pivot, I'd say basically over 67.60s. Maybe we can come up for this old gap, which is still open to 68.25. So we still have a gap here. All right, what was this? From the Monday, from Friday to Monday. So we haven't filled that yet. So maybe this becomes available. That will help the market. Only if the market is not in rotation and we get a move in the semis with it. If we have a look at the Soxal, gapping down here, and its gap fill is all the way down here, right, from Monday's close, so the opposite of the mags. So maybe they bid the mags and maybe they sell the Soxal and close both gaps before earnings. I don't know, folks, but that's what it's looking like to me at the moment. This is no longer a support system. We have to bring this back down to earth right now. All right, so we've got a little bit in here, and up here. Remember the same levels as yesterday, 113s to 115s, the big level. 115 we've just lost. We're back down to 113s again. Oh, this is a mess right now. All right, so again, stuck in range, you can see. If we go to software, it's coming back down inside. All right, unsurprising, we've had a huge run on that. I still think we might need a back test back down here somewhere, 96 to sort of 94s. And wait to see if we come down there and we hold and reload. That would be fantastic. Right, individual names, we'll get through this very, very quickly. Going absolutely nowhere on Apple. All right, this is the whole week spent inside this range right now. We pretty much did the same the week before for a period of time before the breakout and pullback. So we're not really going anywhere. The one that is Meta. We'll get into that in a minute. Amazon, same kind of story, opening up flat, not really going anywhere. You're going to get the picture here, folks. Google opening up flat, not really going anywhere. Nice push out on Monday, giving it back. And we're just opening up on an RBS level here, but not really going anywhere. This one's the mover, all right. They settled that court case. If anyone's been following it, you know, they were getting sued for children being addicted to social media, all right. They settled this morning and we're back to the races. We're still long in this. We'll see how far we can hold it. We've been long for a long, long time, all right, from down in some of these, and we'll see if we can get going. I haven't got much position left yet, but if we start to find a bid and hold a bid, maybe I'll strengthen into it a little bit. Microsoft, I need to get a move on here. You can see all the alerts below. Microsoft coming back inside, but again, not really going anywhere. Slow grind up. We are starting to hold over 85s, but not a whole lot to do there. Nvidia is the one that we're watching, all right? And you just want to watch the big walls, all right? It's very simple, 200 and 190 and then 230. Those are your walls today. That's what we're going to trade between. And I don't mean today, I mean on earnings, right? Between these levels. Those are the extremes. I think they're predicting, was it an 8% move or something on Nvidia? Was that right? Maybe you guys can correct me. They might have changed it. I think it was about an 8% move. Some things that we've had relative strength in which are moving well. Netflix yesterday, I'm going to look now to see if they hold a base over 81, maybe even down to 79. I am long in this. I might dip long some more. Hood's looking good as well. Right, lovely move yesterday. I'm not going to add into this yet. I just kind of want to get through earnings tonight and a few things like that. We've got IREN just around the corner as well. Want to see how we react, what those books look like afterwards. All right, folks. But lots of the swings printing. I did sell some of my IBIT yesterday. All right, I'm concerned that this thing most definitely needs a pullback in IBIT. So I did sell some just for transparency there. Trimmed my position down because that was a hell of a move on Bitcoin. It's likely to come back in a little bit. Okay, zoom in here. Yeah, we'll see. There's not a lot of edge here, folks. This might be a day where I don't trade, I'll be honest with you, but we'll see. We will see. I'll let the market settle down this morning. If we push up into 200 to 220 and fail, maybe I'll consider a short, but I kind of think we'll probably reclaim it if we get out there. I think the market's just going to trap everyone today. Semi's making a move this morning already, so that last few minutes. Here's a move up towards 200, 220. Now I'll watch this. If buyers come in here and fail to move us higher, maybe I'll have a go. But I'm kind of expecting us to just reclaim it and go right back in the chop zone. Let's have a look. Bookmap again, saying it's struggling to keep up. Right, all the way to 220. Watching this now. If they fail here, maybe I'll have a snap short. All right, small piece on versus 220, and if they reclaim it, I'll be out, and that'll be the first go, and it might be the only go. We'll see. Semi's rejecting PDC there. There's the 220 out there on that starter. And I expect we're going to go all the way up to 280 now and then sit in that chop zone all day would be my anticipation now. Which is what I was saying. I'll have one go at it here, and if we reclaim, then I think we'll come back up here and we'll stay in this all day and we will chop everyone to pieces. Exactly what I expected. Unless they fail these 230s, 220s, 230s and come back under 210s, what's previous day value, 208s, then there's nothing to do now. And this was my fear for today, that it would do this early, get stuck, and then that'll be it. That'll be the end of it. How predictable market. And it'll probably rotate all of this all day long now. That would be my anticipation. Ping pong day, yeah, it will be a ping pong day. I mean, they've got a position, or they've got to create liquidity. Here you go, straight away up. See, straight through the grey zone. This is it. And this is what they'll do now. All day long, they will sit in this zone and chop everyone up. This is why I said you have to be very, 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 very careful on days like today. This is their job, is to create liquidity for NVIDIA right now. This is why we had one small go on that first push up, very tight stop. Don't let it come through 2025. It comes through it. We cut. It comes right to the upside. That's the expectation. And we're now inside. Think about this. We're now inside previous day's value. This is the grey node. This is where I promised you I will not be trading in this grey node. I'll have a go at this. I will ignore everything in here. That would be it for me. And I don't think I'll try a breakout the other side of this. If they hold over 300, there is an argument for it to try and get to 400. It would have to really prove, and I'd have to really see this tape get moving here today. And I'm really unconvinced that's what they're going to do. I think they are just going to trap absolutely everyone here. And Semi's doing the same. They're back through 116.5. Where's NVIDIA trading? Still red on the day. Who's called the bid there early? AMD. Yeah. Nada. De nada. How are they creating liquidity right now? My friend, I'm not sure if you're joking there or not. I'm going to assume you're joking there. Are you serious? I worry for some of you. Okay, here starts the rotation of the grey box. Put some volume on there. Where is it? All right, they're holding POC. Now, I'd be surprised today if they want to hold a bid over 300s for that move to 400. I'll watch it, but it would somewhat surprise me if they're going to do that. I think they will just chop all day long now. Genuine question, Chuck. Okay, go to your hourly chart, Chuck. In fact, just rewind the tape. Just rewind today to the beginning and just watch it, because I've gone over it already. If you weren't here pre-market, I'm not really sure. If you were here and you don't understand, then when we are compacting the market into a tight consolidation and range, which is what this grey box is, and people are not getting their way, short sellers are not getting follow through downside, buyers are not getting follow through upside, then what do you think we do? We go nowhere. We create high volume. What is high volume? It is liquidity. What happens when we raid that liquidity on NVIDIA tonight? We will go one side and then the other. Everyone's stops will get taken. Okay, back down again. So look, the grey box being chopped as anticipated. We're already rotating previous day's value already. It's already starting to happen. So we've just gone value area high from yesterday, back down to value area low from yesterday. This is where I was considering a short on the first attempt in. The difference is they can protect it now. So I will not be tempting a short here now. I will just be ignoring this market all the time we're in this grey box, because I understand its game. No worries. Oh, are the bubbles on? Thank you, mate. They are not on. I don't think they are on. There we go. So there's a big bar at this low, and there was actually a big bar at the high. So, all right, there's your profile. Grey box rotation. We might have to like, I don't know, start telling some stories and jokes today, because I am not going to be trading in here. If you want someone trading in here, you probably need to go and watch someone else, because I promise you, I won't be doing it. Yeah, no worries, Roscoe. There you go. There's value area low bid, and they're going back up to current day value area high, and they will try and retest previous day value area high into 290. See how the grey boxes, they're just going to chop it. They chop and chop and chop and chop. This is their job. This is what I mean. That's why I will absolutely, for me personally, I won't be trading it. If you love ranges, you probably, this should be your market. This grey box should be your bread and butter. Can I show my anchored volume profile settings? They are written in the chart. They're written in chat. I use 2 ticks. If you don't pay for tick data, use 1,000 rows. Have it anchored to your right-hand side. That's all you have to do. It's very, very simple. Okay, so semis bid the 113s just like yesterday. They've come up through PDC. They're trying to get up to those highs towards 117s where we have supply. So far, they're pulling back off it. They're actually flat. They're opening up. Well, right now they're trading at PDC. Mag's coming back down under its first cool wall here into its kind of uptrend. VIX is going absolutely nowhere. ES is holding its zero line at 660s. It's trying to get up for gap fill to PDC here at the moment on ES. And it's also into the top side of its grey box. All right, this setting has changed. Where's a recenter? Last price. There we go. All right, I'm just sitting still here, folks. This is a part of the game. This is what I was expecting today. You would have heard me call it. I'll try the short. If they reject the grey box, they reclaim, I'll stop out. Once it comes inside, I will ignore absolutely everything. If we move outside this grey box, we can consider things, but right now, if you look at that H1, we go back to what we said at the beginning of the day. It's highly probable. All right, we protect this, which they did. They had the chance to sell this. They didn't. They came back inside, and we're doing the same thing we've done earlier. All right, and that's your liquidity build. And they will make their decision probably after earnings which one of these they're going to do. They will do one of them, but probably not till tonight. This could be a very boring day. I tell you what, folks, I will give it, because I'm not going to sit here all day, I will give it 90 minutes or so, 80 minutes. And if we've not moved outside of this grey box an hour before lunch, we'll do some giveaways, and then I'm going to get out of here, because I will not sit here and stare at a 100-point rotation all day. I have mental capital to use. I would rather save it and use it tomorrow. ES going for gap fill, Spiders going for gap fill. They held 0 print. They're trying to fill their gap above right now. Q's already filled the gap into their 5-day here. Extra water Luna today. Oh yeah, it will be. Be nice. Like, I'm happy for it to do this because it means I don't have to trade. I can get off the charts. Like, I'll come back. I won't trade Nvidia. I will watch Nvidia. What I want to do more than anything is read or listen to what Jensen has to say. I think the guidance is going to be as important as anything else. If you've been following the story, Anthropic have come out in the last 24 hours saying that they've got a chip better than Nvidia's, and they obviously buy most of Nvidia's chips, right? They're the biggest client. So if they're going to move to their own chip, does he get questioned in that? What does he say about it? We're probably not that far away from Anthropic IPO either. And then you wonder, what are they going to sell to be able to bid that? Because that is going to be a serious, serious float that's going to need to be absorbed. Christian, don't know what to say. It's on you, mate. If you can't hear me, then you're either being a troll or you haven't turned speakers on. Sorry, OpenAI, yeah. My bad. How did I know that it can tap 280? Yeah, because it was yesterday's up to yesterday's value. And right, so if you think about this, think about what this is. This is what we did yesterday. We traded in here, right? Previous week, we traded above here. At the moment, this week, we haven't been able to get above previous week. This is also PDC and Globex, right? So if we don't stay heavy under this, think about this. This is your high volume node, right? We drove into this. If we don't reject that, which I said to you, I'll have a go at it, but if they don't reject it, it's a quick stop because they're going to come straight to the top side. They're now going to do this all day, right? And they can actually expand that. If they want to make this node bigger, what they can do, which would be really good for them to do, would be this. Right, this is how they could build a shit ton of liquidity in here and then raid it all later. All right, so if you zoom out, if you understand rotations, even if you're not using value, just look at your H1s. All right, they're making it really, really obvious for you right now. Right, here's the drive to the upside. Now, if they can't hold the bid over this, then they're going to fail breakout and they're going to trade right back inside. Semis driving up towards 17s here, failing 17s on that first move in semis. Mag's trying to find a bid back up to 67.5s. And they're going to ask the question, can they hold above previous day value area high now and print up? And if they can, these will be the targets. I'd be fairly surprised if they're willing to do that early in the morning, but we're about to find out if they're willing to hold above this grey box. Big sellers coming in here. There are some unfinished auctions above. Let me just zoom this out. Big seller just came in at 305 and balances up to 330s. So we'll see if they fail breakout and turn inside here for you range traders. For people looking at expansion, then you'd basically, they need to hold 260s. Ideally, they hold 280s. Going straight back down. And the bid needs to hold here. Otherwise, you're going to collapse and do this move again, which would be the failed breakout. So I basically say you'd need to hold 280s to 260s max as a buyer, right? And then expand higher. I will watch it in case I see sellers coming in, being aggressive, getting absorbed. It's highly unlikely I see it, but we'll watch. Semis rejecting 117. They're coming back down to their pivot as well, which will be VWAP and PDC. So semis will need to hold 115.80-ish. There is a little bit of absorption taking place here. There we go. You see it on tape come in. Maybe they go for it. But teeny piece on here for that break of the whole number. Now you've got to hold this print above 305s really. Straight back down. This looks more like the fail break now. Flat on that and I'll wait again. That's a better rejection up there. Did they reprice that? They did. And there's only one unfinished auction left at 320s. Everything else they just filled. So this is looking more like the failed auction now. So I'd say now if buyers can't hold 270s, they're in trouble. I had a little go above the range just in case because I saw the absorption come in. Cut it already. And if buyers can't hold 280, 270, it's night time, and they'll rotate the grey box again. So that's where you're at the moment. Here's 270s. Buyer did show up down there into 270s. Do I want to have a go? No. No, I don't. He did just bid 270s, reclaim 280s. They are actually holding that key level there. I'm not playing because I'm just too concerned. I had that one go for a 300 break and then took it off. They're following my drawing. Well, yeah, pretty much. Semis curling down? No, mate. They're not. They're testing PDC. All right, so they ripped up today, rejected 117s, like I've just said about 2-3 minutes ago. They're going to test that pivot around the 115.70s, which is what they're currently trying to hold. They've literally just bid off it. It's PDC and New York VWAP. If they let go of that, then they're going to test New York Open. If they let go of that, they're going to come to that cool wall, same as yesterday, down into the 113s. Alex, I'm long GC from 6698. Can you tell me what my targets are? I can have a look. From 66, what did you say? 6698, 669 from here. Well, you're into TP1 zone here. If you run this liquidity, you're looking for this cool wall and then a gap fill. I'd say I'd be taking some TP now already because that's the edge of the range. All right, here. So you're long here, TP1. If you base over this, you can look for this move and this move. And if they really got going, you can come and run all these guys out up here later. But I would be like TP1 now, TP2 into around 90, and then a break over the whole number if they did get going. I don't know if you're swing long or what you are. Then you'd be looking for the top side of this, 726s. But you're already at TP1. You should already be moving break even. There's no reason for it to come back down towards 70s again now. If it does, it's a rotation, so you don't want it under that. So, okay, fell breakout, surprise, surprise, back into the grey box. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. We're back in the grey box. We're going to do the dance all day long. Surprise, surprise. And the rotation. And if you are trading the range, you want to target 210s. I would even be tempted to take some off straight away here at this high volume node, 260s, and then target 210s for downside if it does come. You want to be see money, take money today. If you're going to trade this grey box area, you're braver than me. You want to be see money, take money. You do not want to overhold today. And if this reclaims value, you want to be out. Right? Your risk has to be very firm on these. Right? If they do this and reclaim this, you are out. All right, because that is a hold of point of control, and that can bid back up again. You have to be careful on days like today. They are going to rinse people around. Right? It's their job. It is their job to rinse everyone around. Just hit my daily loss already. I came to the desk unprepared and didn't do my pre-market checklist. This is a nasty market, though. Watch out, guys. I mean, it's not really that much of a nasty market. Like, it's fairly obvious what it wants to do at the moment. Unfortunately, you have just summed up how not to trade ever. You didn't prepare, you didn't do your pre-market checklist, and you click buttons. You're asking for it. You've just gone to the table and you went, fuck it, all on red. That's what you just did. That's not a job. That's straight up gambling. There is literally zero edge in that. We talked about it yesterday. You have to prepare, right? You have to prepare for the market. I prepare you guys every morning for free, right? These were the possibilities today. We're either going to go in grey box and chop. We're either going to come down to green box and trade back up to grey box. We're going to expand grey box, or we're going to trade above it and expand, or below 29,000 and expand. And I even say here, probably unlikely. Be very, very careful if the market reclaims 200s back in the chop zone. I'll be limiting size and opportunities today unless something very clean sets up. My anticipation is that liquidity gets built out and trapped for earnings. All right? That was your preparation. It was literally your preparation. My best days are when I get up early, mark everything off, and tune into Trade Brigade. Yeah, I mean, Matt's a good trader. He is very similar to me. He will have you prepared. He spends a long time preparing people. We trade differently, but he does trade with profile and he does understand structure. So that is a great guy to watch if you're trying to trade, because I'm not up that early. All right, it's a great guy to have you prepared. If you're still learning and you're trying to understand structure and what's going on in the news events, Matt is a great guy to sort of go and watch. I highly recommend him. Not even just for newer traders, just for traders up that early in general. He's probably one of the better guys if you're up at, don't know what time he starts, like 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or something. There you go. So now holding above grey box, they will try and attack up here. So if you are in shorts, you should be out of shorts now. There's absolutely no reason to hold because they're now back above value. And they will attempt to expand up to this cool wall, and if they get very lucky, up to 242. And I will watch if they are willing to hold pullbacks. I will watch. It's just a lack of liquidity here, though. 50s is where they're bidding. I was going to say I'll watch 90s. There's a lot of liquidity to go and fill above at the moment. And there's an unfinished auction still at 320s. And there's a block up at 25s. Is there much above that? No. Seller is now caught. That might have been the dip into 90s there that I've just missed. Yep, it was. Well done, Alex. That was literally it. If we're coming to 90s, misses it. I'm not going to kill myself for missing anything today. I think I'd rather err on the side of caution. So if they're willing to hold above value now, the expansion model is to trade out of this red. So this is your downtrend on H1, right? You've already swept a lot of H1 liquidity here. So the next step for it is to try and get up to this purple box up here, if it can really get going. So the question for the market is it going to do this or is it going to do this? That's the same question. It's the same question we're going to be posing all day. We come in here, it's going to be this. When we get to the bottom side, the question is going to be, are we going to do this or are we going to do this, right? Exactly the flip, right? So it's a mirror right now. This for me is no trade zone. That's expansion. That's expansion. That's fail break. That's fail break, right? Very simple. Well, that was a miss there. That was a miss there into 90s. And there are now sellers caught at 310s, and this should expand, and they should try to accelerate this H1 if they can up towards the purple box. This liquidity, this is the downtrend, cool walls here. If they've got the juice, they will try and run this all the way up here and run people out. And if they do that, that's me thinking not necessarily that we're going to go into a ripper today, that we're going to push the extremes further out, all right? Create more liquidity at the extremes. Matt's just a chartist. Has anyone seen him trade? No, but we're not evaluating his trading. We were evaluating his ability to do morning prep work for you guys who are up early. Okay. ES through its gap up to its 770s. It's into some resistance here. If it gets through this, it's going to look for 7715s. Previous day high now taken on spiders. Q's coming into its 50-day here. Semis again holding that pullback like we talked about. Important to understand that pullback that held in semis. One of you said it's curling over, and I was like, no, it's going to hold its pullback here. It's just retesting. Here's pullback. Right, you have to understand what we're looking at in the market. Learn to read structure. All right, that's its RBS zone, and it's held it, and that's what's helping lift this market. Software having a bid. Mag's trying to bid back up here. I'll give you a readout on the mag as well, by the way, while we're watching this. Apple 0.80% up, Amazon 0.16% down, Google 1% down, Meta 0.41% up, Microsoft 0.63% up, Nvidia 0.25% down, Tesla 0.33% down, equal weighted mag 0.09% up. All right, SOX is up on the day, 0.18% up, IGV is lifting, coming up to 0.5% up. Some of our swings are looking really good. Oracle with a nice bid today, 3.30% up. And I am starting to watch USAR and UUUU. They're starting to come into some old levels that we were playing earlier this year, so I am watching those. All right, well, here's your continuation. Here's your target here to here, and then purple box. Unfortunately, Alex missed that move back into 90s. If any of you took it once I called it out and didn't take it myself, right, you need a very tight stop here. In fact, your stop should go break even now. You're targeting this, this, and then this. And you need to be very prepared for failed breakouts. It is a see money, take money environment, right? This is your H1 downtrend. This is your options level. This is your expected move extreme for the day. That is previous day high, right? We don't know if it's going to get there, but that's what you're positioned for if you're looking for expansion. Tough trade for sure. They're waiting for Nvidia earnings tonight. No, fuck, are they? I didn't know. Thanks for letting me know. I wish I knew. I just, my God. Oh, they're tonight. Oh God, I didn't know. I had no idea, man. I just come to the chart and click buttons. I had no idea. Oh, they're after hours. Oh, fuck. I just had no idea. I don't know the expected move for it. I just had no idea. No way. Fuck me. Thanks, everyone. I'll make sure I turn up tomorrow riding my unicorn with broccoli haircut so I can join all of you. Of course, I fucking knew Nvidia earnings tonight. Are you mental? It was in the newsletter I gave you at the weekend. We've talked about it all morning. Are you crazy? What's wrong with you lot? You lot are mental. Absolutely mental. Oh God. I think it's 8%. I think it's either 6 or 8% expected move. Let me have a look. Yeah, 8%. Implied is 5.5, but expected is currently trading around 8%. What's the straddle right now? Cafe. No, thanks. They think that, I'm just reading the report on Spot Gamma. They're basically saying at the moment it's a 5.5% move, but they think they haven't priced enough in because the normal move is 7.9%. And given how compact this market is, that we could move outside of those gamma levels. And it's very rare to do that. But we went over it this morning, right? They're at 190, 200, and 230 off the top of my head. Let's have a look. And we can put those levels in here for you. We did go over it pre-market. I'm pretty sure they were 200. So 210's neutral. Where's the extreme? Right, 200's put wall for the day. 230. And if we go further out, let's just look at a daily. See what they're giving us here. There you go, 195. So 200, 195, and 230. Those are your extremes right now. That's your 5%. There's your 8%, right? 195. And that 230 is basically your 8%. I wouldn't be surprised if we trade 8% way above the 5%. It wouldn't surprise me. Why I'm saying that is because we are so compact as a market. I think we can easily move outside of these ranges and get nasty. We'll see. It's an interesting setup here. I'd imagine there's a lot of balls in this. If they miss or they talk about that slowdown. I'm sure Jensen's not going to talk about slowdown, but if someone questions him on competitive chips, picking up some of the slack, be interesting to see what he says. Alex, is there any way to roughly predict what NQ would do with NVIDIA earnings, except call walls, because the rest of the market can also move quickly? Well, you can look at the expected moves. All right, so that would be based on standard deviations. So if we have a look right now for intraday, I mean, these might break after hours, right? But I'll show you. Right, so based on yesterday, the edges of the day, absolute extremes, 28,964 at the low and 29,577 at the high based on yesterday. Based on pre-market volume, the low, they think we're going to trade between 28,910 to 28,990 and the high 29,410 to 29,490. So those are kind of matching up. You're kind of looking at, you know, 29,000 to 29,500. So 28,900, sorry, 29,000 to 29,500. So 500 to 600 point range there. Since the open, all right, they've compacted that a lot. So at the moment, we're stuck between 28,960 and 29,382s, all right? So those are your expected moves on the day. Yeah, 29,087, 20. So about 500 points. That's all we've got today. So that's the expected move. We can move outside of that if there is a big beat or a big miss, or the guide, they don't like the guidance. If we look at tomorrow, where are the walls tomorrow? 28,830, which is down to the block that we talked about earlier. 29,320, and end of week. 830, they're adding in more put walls below. End of week looks interesting. Sort of back towards 400, so pinned between 400 and 800 end of week. So let's just think about that. 400, oh, and 800. Oh, so just the normal expected moves. Now the extreme expected moves for this week, we're down here, all right? Hey, don't fucking move it, for God's sake. We had this in at the beginning of the week. Here to here, all right? That's the most, that is your move on this week. 80% chance we don't move outside of that. At the moment, we're tighter. We're pinned in here. So I don't think the market moves beyond these. But we'll just have to see. You never know. You never know. Okay, so another fail break, starting to roll over backside here. So for you range traders, right, you're starting to roll over back into this grey box. That's your fail break. There's your H1 downtrend. Didn't get tested. Thank you. And if we reject this, LVN, midpoint, and if they stay heavy, bottom of range, and then maybe bid back up. Right, as you can see, I'm doing absolutely nothing. Not interested. I'm just not interested at all. What tool is that? What I just put up, it's Tanuki. It's Tanuki. It's you'll have to pay for it. It's an options tool. I taught, if you go and do my free lesson on Gex regimes and stuff, I do talk about it there. Grey rotational box is expanding. It is sort of slowly expanding. Like, we could argue with putting more volume here, but I'm looking at the weekly flow. You could argue it comes all the way up to value area high on the week. I mean, we could argue it comes up to here now. I would agree with you. And we could drag this in a bit if we wanted to here, but at the moment, maybe even to here. But there's some extremes down there, so we'll just keep this on. Right, these are my least favorite markets, as you well know. I've said it many times on stream. I try to avoid trading rotations. Right, here are some lessons for you. You need to know what you're good at trading. All right. Not just everyone's like, my setup is inverse fair value gap. Blah, 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 blah. It don't matter what your setup is if you don't understand what's happening in front of you on the screens. All right. So there are different types of market. There are markets going sideways, building out liquidity. There are markets in expansion, and there are markets doing fail breaks and returns back inside. Identify that market first. All right. Then you can think about your setup. If you actually understand the market in front of you, you will understand when your setup is more likely to work and less likely to work. That's probably the first thing to understand, right? Rather than, oh, I trade a 21 EMA blah, blah, blah cross. Okay, well, that's not going to work in a market that's going sideways. It's the same thing, right? You have to understand the type of market conditions. Once you understand that, you will start to see where you're weak. Now, I know I'm weaker after hours. All right, my best session's in the morning session, the AM session, because it's where a lot of liquidity comes into the market. I'm also weaker at trading range. I just feel very uncomfortable doing it. It's never been what I do, not even in my days before this. Like my other, if you think about my swing cap, my small cap trades, they're mean reversion trades on highly expanded moves. If you think about my swing trades, they're really positioning on breakouts on markets which have been absolutely decimated or have broken out and then gone sideways. And I'm trying to build some volume in that volume shelf after a fail breakdown for an upside move. What I try not to do is this stuff. I just don't feel comfortable doing it. And there comes my edge, because by not doing anything, I'm not wasting my mental capital, and I'm certainly not wasting my risk capital on something which I might not trade well. We talk about it all the time. Golf is not a game that's perfect. Can you get around the golf course with your 8 iron, right? My 8 iron, right, is simply a market which is doing something, I mean, like this, all right, or it's breaking out and it's a 2-leg pullback and then holding for this, all right, not doing this, all right. This would be me trying to trade, I don't know, play trick shots all the time, and I'm going to get myself in the bunker and I'm going to get hurt. Even though I can see it, I don't trade it well, so I try to ignore it. Great book. Yeah, it is a great book. All right, semis coming back down towards that 113. So they let go PDC, they let go VWAP, they flushed New York Open. If they stuff New York Open and the trade back in, then I expect them to come down to their call wall into 113, which is where we traded yesterday. Do not diddle in the middle here, folks. You've been warned. Listening to Chimp in Box based on suggestions. Yeah. All those are like really good books, really good for psychology, that book. Really good book. I'm trying to think of other books that I'm going through at the moment again. I'm doing the New Market Wizards at the moment. I love it because I recognize a lot of the content and a lot of the strategies. Fooled by Randomness as well. That's a good one to read. All right, back down into VWAP again. Here's semis retesting New York Open. I have to see if they sell this now on semis on a rejection of New York Open or not. Back down to the low side of this range right now. And then you have to see if they want to bid back out. So if you were short, you want to be taking some profits if you haven't already, and then you're targeting the low side of this range, 220s. All right, that's been our over-under all week. If you just zoom this out to a 5-minute, you will see the importance of 220s this week. All right, it's been a big level. All right, it's where they failed to break down from yesterday, and we reclaimed. They came back for a back test twice. They reclaimed. They stuffed it this overnight, and they flushed. They came back to it. They bid over it. We went over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. They flushed it. They come back to it. They come back to it again. It's a huge level down here. Very, very big level. So you got to be paying yourself into it. You must pay yourself into it. You can see the bids are lined up here. 225 down to 200s. How are we doing on the likes, folks? Can we do some giveaways today? Hopefully we can, because this is boring. This be boring. Almost there, actually. 800. Remember, 1500 for the big one today. All right, semis back to New York Open. If they pop through this, they'll try and test VWAP in that 115.50 to 115.70s. If they fail this, new lows, we can rotate back up here and then make a decision if they're going to stuff this up here or if they're just going to keep rotating this over and over and over again. Eventually, I will. Zori, go away. I will instantly ban you if you're going to start being silly. I know. You're so bored, can you buy now? Yeah. Full account. Buy it. Buy it. Full account. Is that why we trade? Do we trade because we're bored? Is that how we execute? All right. And this is the trade here at the moment. If you're going to trade, if you are going to try and diddle in the middle, which I do not advise, you need that rejection, and that's your target down here. And then it's runners beyond that. Which dog? I told you to keep it away. Was she off leash? What did they say? Are you okay? Did he pierce you? Has he had his jabs? Yeah, ask. You alright? Shaken up? Yeah, I told you, he's fucking nasty. He's not. Yeah, he's protective. Let's go fight someone. All right, there's the stuff. And they will try and trade down to here now. So they're trying to protect point of control and LVN. And they're going to try and get down to 225s now. And if they succeed, and you are in this, if you're in this from the high, or maybe you just made an add position there, you need a breakdown here. You need to be covering some here. And then if you trade under 200s, then you can target the bottom side of the extreme. And I'll remind you, that's your H1 downtrend, that's your H1 uptrend. This is possible. It's usually my dog that's crazy. It's so we've got new neighbours up the road, just and in the building, and they've got a puppy. It's Malinois, and I knew instantly that he was aggressive. I could see it in him. And there you go. There's your target. So 220's just hit there. You should be TPing some out into this 220 level, and then your runners. So if you are short either from the fail break here and turn inside, or from this pop I just gave you, your TP is here. All right, and your runners down here now, folks. He's young, but he's aggressive, and I noticed it because when I walked past the door, he's very aggressive and assertive, even as a puppy. And obviously Malinois are big dogs, territorial. And my wife just said, like, the owner's like, oh, he's friendly. So she went over to stroke him, and he just bit her right here. So that's why I said, check he's had his jabs. I mean, nasty people would cause problems over that, eh? Only professionals should have them. Yeah, they need a lot of training. I mean, they should go straight into, like, they're service dogs. They need to be, they can't just be, people don't understand, they can't just be walked. They need to be trained. They're there to, like, go and do body retrieval and stuff, you know? Exactly, it's special force dogs. That's exactly it. All right, here you go. There's the flush. Right, and if you get lucky, right, you can target New York Open and all the way down here if you get lucky. One side to the other. Notice what semis did. They just rejected New York Open and then did what? 113s. You've literally just gone over it. They've just done the exact move. So you should be runners only here. Yeah, like no dog's an angel. Every dog will have a switch. It's just whether you flick it. And no one always knows what that is. You all out from 309 to 200. Nice work, man. That's great. Into your zero line. 309. I really like that entry. That is a fantastic trade, whoever just said that. I really like that. You waited for the fail break. We swept the liquidity, both internal and external. Swept H1 liquidity. We failed. You get short on rotation. You cover at the lows. It's fantastic. I mean, it's fantastic. That's how you should trade it. I just don't like these. I can see it. I just try my best to avoid ranges because my edge comes by leaving these alone. That's just me. It's weird, isn't it? I can see it. I can tell you what to do, but I just find that I do not trade them particularly well. Short from 299, aiming for 133s. Yeah, I like that as your final target. Just make sure you've paid yourself on the way. Remember, you're at the edge of value now. If they want to bid this back up, they will. Hopefully they don't for you, but I'm just saying if they wanted to, they could. So just be smart. And if you're looking for downside on spiders, you're looking for 65s to be traded. They're coming right in already. Semis are holding that 113. That wall is being bid on right now. There you go. Semis. Let's move this into 930s. All right. So IGV holding the bid. Software holding the bid today. Semis printed the high and have come right back down to the lows. Mag's kind of following suit right now. IGV starting to pull back as well, helping pressure. But you should be smaller size now. All right. You would need to see them reject value here for like further expansion down towards this New York low and beyond. So really you could say, like, you certainly don't want it above 260s. Really, you'd rather it doesn't come back above 225s, right? That big level that we've just gone over, 220, 225 is a massive level. So if you are in this, and I'm not saying to start a new position, I'm saying if you are in this, you want to see this move here. If you see this move here, you probably want to leave it and bail because you're more likely to come back to mid. Right. I'm not saying start a new short here. I'm saying for those people who are short up here, or maybe even played this one here that we talked about. It's a shame they didn't poke a little bit further through for that. All right. You want to see this for the continuation. If they rebid this, you want to be done with it. You're playing edge to edge. Here it goes, back towards that New York Open. Hopefully you get some extra downside here. So your next target here is basically 75s. And then under that, 135s. And let's see if we've got more under that. Yeah. New York Open, 135s. Put wall here is at 115. Here's New York Open. So here's your next target, folks. So take a piece here. And then you're looking for downside pressure under this. And if you get very lucky today, we come into this big green box. Moderna's going down. That's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's fine, mate. You can't be worried about that. It's an inside up bar after a huge push yesterday. You know where I'm swing long from, right? Right. I'm swing long from 132s, 130s. Right. This can pull back to 145s and hold the bid. You have to understand on swing positions, like this is where people struggle. They struggle to move time frames. Like if you're looking at Moderna now and you're like, oh, we're going down, we're going down, we're going down. Right. Just zoom out. Understand the type of trade here. There's your gap up day on huge volume, right? There's the volume. There's your gap up day. There's your inside bar. There's Alex's buy. There's Alex's risk. We go sideways. We break out further yesterday. Outside of this, we're going to pull back. If we hold 145s, I'm still looking for this 200 move. All right? My risk is now flat. So I'm good. Like, I'm not worried about what happens in here, right? The more that this does this in here, the better. Because eventually I can look for this move. And if it fails, I don't lose anything now. My risk was here. My risk's moved up now. You have to zoom out when you're trading swings. People get too zoomed in for like a pullback day. A pullback day is highly probable. It has to happen. But we're just pulling back to structure. All right, there's the 65 tag on spiders. ES coming down to those 680s. Mags trading back down towards low of day. I've got to get my socks all back now because it's moved it to Moderna. Can I have you back? There you are. Socks are trading around that 113. So it did come under it. It's come back over it again. So it remains that key level. Same as yesterday, 113s. And this is very simple now. All right, market either rejects this now, which is the same with traders I was looking for this morning for that trade down, or it comes back inside and chops in this grey zone again. All right, those are the opportunities now in this market. Maybe I'll have a look if we trade back up towards 210, 220 here. Maybe I'll have a feel of what might be available. Right, count up here. Absorption up there. I want this to trade higher and then see if it can make a decision. Covered my target. I covered too early. My target was New York Open. I need to stick to my targets. Where did you cover? That's New York Open. That's where you are now. You can still hold runners here. Right, if you were short here or you took this, right, that's a TP. If you get down here, great. You'd need to see this reject for this move here. If they hold back inside here, then it's a fully out, right? If you were short from up here. If you're short from here, I'd be more inclined to just be done with it. Because your RR isn't as good, right? So we can watch here how we act into 210, 220s. If we reclaim that, then 260s becomes available. They go back upside. It could be the same move as we saw this morning. So I'll watch this into 210 to 220s, see if they lift and if there are actually some passive sellers here. This is just like the open drive attempt that I had this morning, right? It's exactly the same. Why do I have New York open here? Because that's where it was. Some of you ask really weird questions. Because that's where it was. Because I just made it up. Some of you've got to be trolling, honestly. You have to be. You have to be. Oh, God, man. I cannot stop laughing at some of you today. You're funny. It's NVIDIA earnings tonight, Alex. Did you know? New York Open's made up. Yeah, same way values. It's all. It's imaginary. It's not real. I'm only fucking with you guys. All right, there's the bid off semis on 113. So they've held that cool wall again. They're coming back up to New York Open again. They're just doing the same churn. So 114.71, possibly up to sort of 115s in a bit, will be a back test on semiconductors here. Mag's trading down towards low of day. And I'm waiting to see if we come up here and stuff it or not. Or if we trade inside and go back into the no trade zone for Alex. Which I think is highly probable. See if we can lift a bit more here and make a decision, ideally. The 200, I'd like that lift to sort of 220-ish. 210s, 220, see buyers chase in and see if there's a passive seller there willing to sell down. I don't think the low of day's in yet. It's just whether they come for it now or much, much later. It's an imbalance up here, which we're just tapping into. Come on, just lift a bit more and show me that there are some sellers above willing to absorb. I think we might move down without popping up here. Zoom into this book. $200. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. There comes a big buyer. I've put a little feeler on there on him at 200. What size did he have? 76. Don't want them to bid back over that. If they bid back over that, we're going to go 210, 225. So I'm just watching him here at 200. Got a feeler on him. Nice. I want to see this downside pressure now. I don't want to see this be absorbed at 190. Very tight stop there. It's just a feeler. They're out there. See if they come in more aggressive here, and I'll have another go at up to 220 or back under 200. They are starting to try and bid quite aggressively here now. This is what I want to see for the failure. Right, piece back on at that same level. 126. I'm back in short here. Again, tiny size, just trying to trade around this guy to see if he gets stuck. Because he's had 2 attempts there at 200. Not going to give it much room. Got to be very careful. Here we go. I'd like a new low of day. That's what I'm going to look for here. Someone's just absorbed 90s again. So there's a passive buyer at 90s. There's an aggressive buyer at 200 not getting his way. I'm leaning on the aggressive buyer who's getting stuck. I need this passive buyer at 90 to just let go and let us flush down towards this low and make a new low of day. That's what I'm looking for. Here we go. Come on. Can we get back to that New York Open at least? You ain't going to give it to me, are you? Come on. Only thing is, semis might need to get back up to that New York Open themselves for the back test, and that might lift this up to a VWAP. So got to be careful here. I'll stop out here at 200 again if they break over. I'm protecting it right now. There's my stop. There's value hit. I'll watch this for the same trade, but if we hold inside value, I won't watch for the trade. There goes semis to New York Open. And the danger now is if they hold a bid of 200 to 220s, then they go back inside the grey box and right away back up to the upside again. And I won't be bidding it. I'm only looking to play outside of this grey box. It's just how I'm going to stick to my rules. It allows me to have this tight defined risk where I don't give much back, right? Here's previous day point control. If they break through this, then they come right away up here next. And there's no short for me unless we move back outside the grey box. So I will not be playing any position inside. If you want to bid on this now, then you would need them to hold 210 to 200 on a pullback to confirm that they're willing to hold the grey box. If you are looking for a range rotation, that's what you would need. So if you're going to be bid on it, you would need them to now hold this and do this move. Ideally, they don't scream all the way up there without you. All right. I'm only looking to trade this out here and this up here. I'm trying to ignore this right now. Just gives me tight defined risk. Oh. Breaking my chair here. 225 is being absorbed now. There's the rejection of New York Open on semis. We just said they might need to come back up there. They are coming up there. They are starting to reject it. The only thing I'm interested in is if we move back under value. I'll be interested in expansion model only. I'm not going to trade rotation. If we hold inside value, I totally would understand if you want to play long here. It is a choice from me not to do that, and just making that decision because I don't trade it well. That's the only reason, not because it's not viable. Your chart's showing a spike through 240. Well, you're probably trading MNQ or something because it hasn't traded up there. What does squeezing with negative delta mean? Well, we've got negative deltas dripping off, right? So sell pressure is going down. Think about this here at the bottom. Sell pressure is going down and we're lifting up. That makes sense. So we're going from big sellers to buyers starting to take control down here. All right, so we're not seeing big sellers. If we had negative delta, if we had delta continually moving lower and price moving higher, that would say that, hey, someone's absorbing the tape. That's not actually what we have. We actually have buyers, genuine buyers stepping in here, right? This would be a good example. That's your divergence, all right? Price made a higher high, delta made a lower low. That means there's passive sellers up there. That's your classic, that versus that. All right, there's your bid. Like I said, if you want to bid that, you can. There's your bid and your target's up there. I'm not bidding it. I'm not playing inside grey box. But that's your bid that's just held, that 210s kind of level, the edge of value, and they will try and target point of control now. Range move to NVIDIA earnings? No way. Really? Nvidia earnings tonight? Nah, that's not true, is it? Not another one. No way, man. I had no idea. I had no idea. Couldn't even see the range. Yeah, Jackson Hole Friday. I'll be interested to see what Walsh has got to say. I'm not a fan of Walsh, I've got to say. He has got a chip on his shoulder. Major chip on his shoulder. We're putting a task force in. We're not using the same data as before. We're Mate. Not keen. Makes me realise how much I actually liked Powell. Okay. The only thing I'll consider is a short under here at the moment. Otherwise, I'm not considering anything. I have to be careful because we swept a lot of structure. Otherwise, if you want to bid long 210s to 200, I totally understand. I'm not going to be doing that. It's just keep saying it over and over again. If we fail those levels, I'll be looking to see if we sell. Otherwise, there's nothing I can do. Ain't nada I can do. All right, back into this key level. Buyers have got to show up here for you guys who are trying to bid value. I'm secretly hoping they don't show up and that we flush under and that I can think about short because I'm much more comfortable playing outside of a big range. It just looks shitty here. I'm interested though if we lose this buyer from earlier. I am interested down here if we can get under 210s because we did not complete this that well at the low. So I am interested in this short if we do lose it. Not before we lose it though, only if we do lose it. Do I like watches? Yes. Have a decent collection. Not the best collection, but a decent collection. I will be treating myself to a couple more probably at the end of the year because I have a addiction issue. What order flow chart am I using? Spectra Pro. You can, it's a flow zone indicator. You can get it on the website if you're interested. Poolside. Thanks, buddy. You legend. Thanks, mate. Oh, God. What do I think of gold? Yeah, I think it looks nice on jewelry. What do you think of it? Alex, quick question. I watched the Spectra Pro video, but my screen never looks like yours. Is there something you do differently from your introduction video? No. You might just need to zoom in. Maybe you're trading M and Q. You might need to change. Like I only chart on NQ, so it could be stuff like that. Oh, chat's on one today. I can tell you guys are bored. I'm bored as well. I'm just want to wait for a second here, just because I think there might be a move coming. I'm just gonna wait to see if we move outside of 210s to the downside. I'm gonna have a little look at it for a short. All right, this is perking my interest here. I'm watching this. I am watching this carefully. If they don't bid this back inside, I'm going to be interested in selling it, because I don't think live days in. I want to be very careful here. Lift back to 220. I want to see them stuff 220, 225 here, and then break 210s, and then I'm interested. Nope, nothing. Just full reclaim. Cannot get short unless we move outside of 210s to 200s. Otherwise, we're just in that grey box, and we're just going to go right the way back upside. So I was waiting to see if they wanted to do a little stufferama down here, because I don't think the lows are in. But no is the answer. They've just held again, and they're going to try for this again. And this is my no trade zone. It's been my no trade zone since pre-market. I'm not touching it. I ain't interested in trading inside of it. Do I enjoy trading? Yeah, I love trading. I absolutely love it. Was in Knightsbridge this morning. Watchers of Switzerland had a lovely gold Royal Oak on a rubber strap, 46k. I don't love the Royal Oak and gold personally. I do really like it on steel. My neighbour Phil recently got one, the new one, the offshore on titanium. It's actually really nice. Not a ceramic guy either. It's personal preference, isn't it? Watches are very, very personal preference. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure what I'll get end of year. I need to make friends with an AD when I get to Austin. If you wonder how much I like watches, this is how much I like watches. I'm constantly browsing. I have an AD here, but I won't have one when I move. I don't know what next. I actually really like, and I went and tried it on, is the Reverse Panda Speedy. It's a little bit pricey compared to the other Speedies, I mean. But I do like, it's a sapphire sandwich, and I do like that the bezel insert is not aluminium, so you won't scratch it up. And they released the new 38 yesterday. I'm not a fan. I know lots of people really like it, but I'm not a fan. Delta thinned out, yeah, it's back to zero line. You can see it down here. It's literally back to zero line. Now, there's nothing going on right now. What's my favorite watch brand? I'm not sure I have a favorite brand. I have favorite models of brands, but I'm not sure I have a favorite brand. So problem, you know, my collection is of my favorite models. So my collection started when I was 18. I was gifted an all gold Omega DeVille, which was my grandfather's. And then from there, after I said when I did my first big deal, when I was in the music industry, I'd buy a watch. I waited until my third big deal, and I bought a Planet Ocean Chrono 45 on rubber. And then since then, I've added to it. My wife bought me a bimetal Datejust for my wedding. It's a 36. What else I've got? I've got the No Time to Die Omega Seamaster, and I put it on an uncle strap. I have Tudor Pelagos. I just put that on a Jubilee again from Uncle. I really like Uncle straps. I have get my brain going. IWC Engineer in blue. My most recent purchase is the Cartier Santos large with date window in green. And I have some ton of other stuff, bits and bobs as well. All right, there we go. So it held grey box back up to midpoint. Here it goes. The churn continues from one side to the other. This is fun, folks, isn't it? What a fun thing to do. It ain't for me, markets like this. But the good news is I know it's not for me, so I don't sit here and waste my time too much. You have your Speedmaster Moonwatch, still my favorite of all the watches, but it's personal. Yeah, I mean, I do. That's what I'm looking at. I like the. I went in and I tried on the normal one, the Speedmaster Professional, on the new bracelet, and then I tried the Reverse Panda, and I don't know, something about the Reverse Panda I quite like. So if I can get a good deal on that, I'll get that and something else. Not decided what yet. I like the Sprite, but I'm not a left-hander, so but I like the colorway of it. And here goes semis back to PDC, and here goes market back to PDC with it. We're just following semiconductors, everything lifting again all at once as we go back to the upside of the grey box. Fun, fun, fun. Look how we're getting tighter and tighter. Following the blue and red lines right now. That's all we're doing. How big of a dude am I? I'm like 6'1.5". I've lost a little bit of weight recently, so I'm probably weighing in about 212, 213. Batman, Batgirl, or Pepsi? Probably Batgirl for me. Only thing, I think it's a very common watch now. That's the thing that puts me off it. I like watches which are a little bit unique. I think Rolexes, for me, it's lost its edge. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got some Rolex or a moody Rolex, especially the sub. It's a bit of a shame, really. Bruce Wayne, I'm not a big fan of the Bruce Wayne. I need something with a bit more colour. My stuff's already pretty boring. Not a fan of the Hulk either. I used to like it when I was about 5-6 years ago. I'm not a fan anymore. Sky Dweller, also not a fan of. I know it's stingy, isn't it? Like some of the Daytonas I like. I'm not sure I like them over. Like genuinely not sure I like them over the Speedy. I'm genuinely not sure I do. The only way I would get a Daytona is if I got it from an AD. I ain't paying 10-20 grand more than AD rate. You got to be fucking bonkers to do that, in my mind. That's another whole watch there. Don't like the Sky Dweller. Yeah, I just don't love it. Like, I can appreciate it, but I don't love it for me. I don't think I'd wear it enough. Rejected LVN, yes, we did reject LVN, and we're traveling down to the other LVN now at 44s, right? So we rejected this one, we're traveling to this one, and the ping pong can start in here now. Right? And this is the trouble, and your midpoint of all of this. Right? If they let go of this, they come and test this, and then the question is, do they bid it back out or do they sell it? It's very hard to look for continuation trades in this market, which is how I like to trade, right? I like to trade traders that are trapped and look to use their pain. At the moment, we're just ping-ponging. You like Zenith? Yeah, I like the Zenith. I went and tried on. What I do like is the skeleton DeFi in blue with the El Primero. I do like it. I tried it on. They will do. I tell you what, ADs will do you a very good deal on a Zenith right now. They are not selling enough. You will get a very good deal on a Zenith from an AD. Oh my God, this is boring, isn't it? Did any of you play the long here? Back to mid. So you hit your TP there if you played that. And then you're asking, can I get a runner up to here? Question mark. All right, or do they just rotate this? Question mark. We don't know. Mag's caught a bid though, that's for sure. If you just have a look what the broader market is doing right now, if we go to go away trading view, can we do it on this chart? Here we go. Mags. All right, same thing. I have to take this off. All right, high, low, back into top side of range. Great. Fun, 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 fun. Soxal. Same thing. All right, just trading from one pivot to the other. All right, pinned in. 113s, blue box to red box, back to mid. That's all we're doing. There is not much to do here, folks, hence me being very, very boring today and not really doing a lot. It's just going to be one of those days. One of those days when I don't want to wake up. This has been your most profitable day. Then take note of that. It probably means you like trading range. So those are the markets that you want to be focused on as a trader. All right. If you like trading range, you like trading edge to edge, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's not weird at all. There's lots of traders that like that. That is the market telling you, hey, this is what you should be trading. You should focus on inside days. You should focus not on value expansion, but on value rotation. Those are the days where you need to trade. That's absolutely fine. So focus on those days. And I tell you what, those days happen more than expansion days, right? So that's one really good thing for you. Yeah, it's great, Austin. T. Riley, Asia session. Yeah, well, Asia session often is rotational as well. SPY last 8 days, red candle. I'm not sure SPY is, but QQQ has been. This is the day I turn my quant model on. Exactly, Charlie. Just let it work. It's crazy to me that you don't like trading range. Why is it crazy? Yeah, not lately, T-Dot, but normally we go in range rotation in Asia. I think there might be a lack of pressure from a range day. I don't expect there to be grand setups or any setups. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. We all know we're on pause. Fortunately, the chat educated to me that it was NVIDIA earnings tonight, because I had no idea that we're into earnings pattern. I thought we would just, normal day and we'd rip faces. I love this chat sometimes. You guys are jokes. You guys are jokes. All right, so they're stuck at mid. You've got VWAP below. You've got previous day value area low below. You're into this big node here. It's possible. Look, you've got this LVN being protected and this one being protected. They can do this. If they drop this LVN, they do this. If they drop this, they come down here. Otherwise, they fail breakout and do this. If they print over this and bid, then they come back up to highs. It's just see money, take money, unless you're trading this and this. All right, that was nice. That's been pretty good. Not too bad. If you get up here, great. If you get up here, even better for your runners. Otherwise, there's just nothing to do. Pretty clean PA in Asia last night, early in a session. Yeah, I mean, it broke down and then caught the bid, right? Here you go. Was it this? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty nice. And even that 220, look at this. That is kind of what we were looking for this morning if it was going to do expansion, which it's not been willing to do. All right, that move there, pin low and bid back up and then hold it back into grey box. And if you look at where we are now, it's the same thing. All right, so the opportunity is to do a similar move as this part, this leg, but they've recovered, so they're doing this bit. Right, and we've washed the lows and we've washed the highs. So potentially we can do this all the way into tonight. Right, how are we doing on the likes? Can we do some giveaways? Because I'm bored out my brain. All right, if we get to 1,000 likes, I'm going to give away an Apex account. If we get to 1,500 likes, I will either give away a Lucid account or a My Funded Futures account. I'll leave it up to you. All right? So smash the like button. Let's get it moving. Wanted, dead or alive. Dead or alive. Oh, what's this from Apex? I didn't read this morning. 50k intraday 49, 100k intraday 59, 90% off everything. Oh, legacy accounts are back. That's what that is. For those of you interested. 90% off. They just brought back legacy again. All right, here goes the upside shove back to the top side again. Mag's coming up to previous day high again and current day highs again. That's being lifted by Meta, which is holding that bid from this morning, given that news that it's settled in court today. LVN up here. Remember, if they get through this LVN, they can. There is actually unfinished auctions back at the highs at 314s. The trading villain off to decompress and head to bed in Australia. Take care, mate. Have a good evening. Would I play football with my followers? I'm a little bit old to be kicking a ball around or throwing a ball around. What's better, My Funded Futures or TPT? They're different, mate. But I would say the My Funded Futures account at the moment is probably the easy account to get payouts from because there's end of day drawdown. TPT, once you're funded, is not end of day drawdown. So maybe there's a little bit of edge there right now on My Funded Futures. What's my opinion on legacy accounts? Good if you're willing to get through trading drawdown. Same with all these firms that do stuff like that. Depends how you trade. Back down to mid again, and point of control. See how bored I am. Sat completely still, doing absolutely nada. What would my strategy be for trading drawdown? You've got two options, really. You trade normally, and you try and take profit at peak levels into liquidity pools, and try not to hold runners. Just try and take profit into key levels, so you're always maximizing your peak performance. Or you size down and you try and get this full swings, but you size down enough that it doesn't damage you if it comes back and takes your stop. Or you use a trailing stop, right? Or you're very, very aggressive early on and you try and get past that trailing drawdown. That's probably the worst one to do. But, you know, if you do hit the winner early on and get past it, then, you know, you can go back to trading normally. Those are kind of the different strategies you have. my funded futures. I think you can. I want to say it's 3. I used to think it's 5, but I think with the rapids it's only 3. I think. I remember reading that. I don't think it's 5 with the rapids. I think with the other ones it might be, but I think with rapids, rapid end of day, it might be 3. Correct me if I'm wrong there, folks. I'm trying to go off the top of my head. I think you can have as many as you want in the background, but I don't think you can have more than 3 funded at once for the new rapids. I'm just talking about the new rapid end of days. Are nanos coming to prop firms? I don't know. I would assume so. I would assume they will be very illiquid. So don't think they'll be very useful, to be honest. Only 3? Yeah, I thought so, Callum. I think it's just 3, yeah. Right, this LVN keeps rejecting up here over and over again, but you're not moving downside pressure. You're still holding on well. Mags is coming up for current high of day, previous day high. Semis can't get through PDC. VIX is trading near low of day. We're doing absolutely nothing. You got to wonder if there's a swipe up coming here soon with the mags. Take profit trade is good. Look, if it's under my screen, then I recommend them. Right? If it's in underneath here, wherever it is there, then I recommend them. Take profit's very good. If they're not there, then they're not a partner, and I don't recommend them. I'm quite fussy with who I work with. These guys here, they will pay out. If I have an issue with them, they get pulled. All right, there's the poke and the fail. Back up towards value area high for the day. Didn't quite make it. Mags is still waiting to take out previous day high and current day high. It does have a pre-market high above it, and it still, I believe, still has an old gap above it. I'm just going to triple check that. Yes, it does. There's still a gap on the mags up towards 68.25s. An old gap. So you do wonder if they will fill that today. I will say TPT will not help you with a technical issue. They'll screw you over, so be aware of that. That's bullshit, mate. What technical issue did you have? Be accurate if you're going to say that, because any issue I've ever had with them has always been sorted. So what was the technical issue? What? Yeah. Okay. What? Be accurate. What was your technical issue? What happened? Slow grind and rotations in positive gamma. I can explain, but it's a longer story. I was renewing accounts. They had them deactivated. I tried to trade and didn't place an order on my end. On theirs, it did. What do you mean? I was renewing my accounts. They had them deactivated. Okay, so they're not active. I tried to trade. It didn't place an order on my end, and on theirs, it did. I don't understand what you're even saying there. TPT just refunded me my activation fee because the token didn't appear. Yeah, they will, as long as you email them. My positions auto liquidate end of day, and they refused to help me. I sent logs to prove it, and they admitted it, but refused to do anything. What? I still don't understand what you're saying. You're saying, I'm reading back to what you said. I was renewing my accounts because they were deactivated. Okay, so you didn't have any accounts, so you needed to pay for them again. I tried to trade it and didn't place an order on my end, but it did on theirs. How could any order be placed if they were deactivated, or had you already reactivated them? What's that got to do with the next part, which is so my positions auto liquidate at the end of the day and then refuse to help me? Again, I don't see what the actual issue is there. You're saying my positions auto liquidate at the end of the day and then refuse to help me. What's the actual issue? I sent logs. You're not really What I'm asking for is for you to clarify what happened, what acutely tell me what happened, because maybe I can help you. Upon the renewal of my account, I tried to change the card my end. Okay, so you were buying new accounts. The first card rejected. The second one went through in the periods before the renewal. I tried to trade. It refused the order, but it didn't refuse. So you paid for accounts, but you're saying it refused the order. So you didn't have accounts. How could you trade? Your accounts are negative $1,200 when you just renewed them. Again, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm really sorry. I paid for the accounts for the first month. The renewal was the second month. So you paid for a second monthly fee on it, and you were negative 1,200. How stressed am I for 110? Zero. I'm just trying to understand. Because I'm happy to I'm happy to get involved in help. I'm just trying to understand. That's all it is. Seems like I'm ready to kick off. I'm not ready to kick off. It was in the period between the first and second month renewal. They were trying to charge me. Okay, so in a period. Okay. Okay, so am I getting this right? You were up $400 after your first month. You needed to pay a fee to renew to the second month. And you're saying a trade was placed without you placing a trade. And so when you renewed, you were minus 200. Is that what you're saying? All right, failing LVN there, starting to rotate this high volume node here now, like we've talked about. So buyers will want to protect this. Sellers are trying to protect this. This is value area high from yesterday. This is value area from value area low. If they lose this, they come down here. We are going to keep rotating. That's the market's job right now. It's to upset people. Yes, basically, I tried to trade and it didn't let me, but apparently it did on their end. Okay, I understand. So you placed a trade on whatever platform you're saying. You didn't think you placed a trade. So because of that, you didn't manage your risk because you couldn't see the trade executing. But on their end, it did place the trade. The trade went negative and you were down $1,200. That's what you're saying, correct? So the next thing I'd ask is, what do you use to place the trade? As in, what are you using CQG? Is it Tradeify? And I'd then also ask, what are you executing on? Quant Tower and Rhythmic. Okay, there's your issue probably. So what you need to do, right, is this is going to sound long, but this is what you need to do. You need to reach out to Rhythmic and have them confirm that your data is correct and loop them in on an email to TPT. It's not TPT's fault. Your issue is actually with Rhythmic. TPT only go by what they can see their end, right? Same with all prop firms. Your issue is with Quant Tower and Rhythmic. You need to get them to have admission of fault of a problem their end, and then they will rectify it at TPT. And this is the same for anyone. That's the issue. It's because it's not a TPT issue. Your issue is with Rhythmic and Quant Tower. That's the issue you have there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that, mate. And I'll tell you why I know that. Because I've had that issue before. And I had that issue with Apex and with Tradeify Ninja. And I had exactly the same. That's why I said I want to help, because once we got to the bottom of it, I want to try and help you. I had that exact same issue, mate. And I had to get Tradeify to admit it, because they were like, there's not a global, what do they call it? A global blackout or whatever. And I was like, well, I can see it on my screen. So yeah, that's what I would try and do. That's what I would try and do. We got there in the end. See, everyone trying to say I was being nasty. I wasn't being nasty. All right, so we're losing LVM here potentially. If now the sellers sell 250s, we're going to come right the way back down to the bottom side again. And the rotation is going to continue and continue and continue. Yeah, try and get a hold of Rhythmic if you can, mate. That will really help you. And if you can send them your logs and your account, and they can send you theirs, and you can at least ask them why it didn't show on yours. You can at least raise that question with them. Do you know what I mean? All right, back down to previous day point of control and VWAP here. Again, I'm not interested even slightly in this market, in this grey box, because this is its job. It is to frustrate people. Once you understand that, you will be happy like me, sitting on your hands, trying to help people, even though people think I'm nasty. I genuinely just wanted to help, just to get to the bottom of it. And the only thing I'll be interested in is if they lose 210s. And if you guys want to bid 210s, I don't blame you. If you're a range trader and you want to bid 210s, I don't blame you. But I'm going to wait for this market to potentially move outside. What we've just seen here is semis come back up to PDC and reject it and come back to New York Open. All right. So, and we've seen mags put a new high of day in and then fail. All right. So semis found the bid. No way. No way. What is this structure? No way that this just happened. All right. Drive this morning into supply, get stuck, wash down into demand, come back up to where the buyers got stuck this morning, pull back into high volume node, LVN, chop, 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 chop. How many people can they upset? Right. And when we look at the mags, you're going to see it took high of day and it took previous day high and then failed. There you go. High day and previous day high. Wash, wash, wash. Trap buyers in, breakout buyers, come back to midpoint. What platform do I have? Hang on, I'll zoom up. Do I have TPT connected, please? All right, I only use Tradeify. I used to use Rhythmic. I had nothing but issues with Rhythmic. So I moved to Tradeify. All my connections are done with Tradeify. If a prop firm does not use, I'll give you an example. There is quite a big prop firm who wants to work with us at the moment. And I'm questioning whether they work with NinjaTrader and Tradeify and what they offer for NinjaTrader and Tradeify prop, what additional things they offer, because I'm only interested in working with NinjaTrader and Tradeify. Why? First of all, they are a industry standard reliable package. Second of all, their customer service is good. Third of all, I have a genuine relationship with the team over there, which means if there are ever issues for guys in my Discord with stuff like that, whereas I can't reach out to Rhythmic, if Josh was in my Discord, which he might well be, if it was with Tradeify or Ninja, I could pick. In fact, I've got a call with Ryan Curbs today after we stream. I can pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, what happened here? Can we get to the bottom of it?" So that's who I trade with and why. Remember, life is about relationships, right? It's all about relationships. But that's me personally. That's how I operate. Really weird today. I was entering with 1 mini on TradeSync, was having me in with 4 minis. Wow. Blew all your accounts. Well, that's terrible. Sorry to hear it. I don't use web-based platforms for anything. Yeah, Josh, I can try, mate. I can try and help. If you get some form of proof from Rhythmic and they take responsibility, just email me, mate, and I will try my best to have a positive impact there for you. They won't care about your logs, mate. They'll need to see it from Rhythmic's end. They'll need to see it from Rhythmic's end. Right? That's what I'm saying. They won't care about your logs. They will only, the only time any of these people, this is a general rule for all prop firms, right? The only time they will help you out is when the person who provides the data admits fault. It won't be about you. That's all it is. It's not your fault, mate. It is. I promise you, I've been in your position. It's really fucking upsetting. I feel you. They will only do it when the data provider admits fault. For example, when we have blackout issues, when prop firms are growing, which we have had 2-3 years ago, we used to have all the time, right? You're not going to get a refund on that account until there is admission of issue, whether it be CME goes down, which is very unlikely, or Tradeify goes down, or global issue with Tradeify, or global issue with Rhythmic. Okay, then you're going to get your money back. It's the same with this. Cape Verde goalkeeper is in chat. No way. Really? What a legend. Even if you record the screens. Maybe if you record the screens. Okay, rejection of POC. You can see this huge node. We are developing more and more and more and more and more down here now. We could argue, right, that we could probably shrink this into here at the moment. That's how tight it is today. So we could do this for now, but we have to be aware of this upside because this is where it is for the weekly. Why I'm asking you is because I'm on Tradeify and I tried TradingView and I don't like it. Yeah, I would never ever execute on TradingView. You've got to remember you're routing through multiple different servers, right? So you're clicking on TradingView. TradingView's then got to send that through their, I don't know, what would it be, an API or whatever, to the Tradeify server, and then them send it through. So you're adding like multiple potential seconds of delay, right? And TradingView is quite clunky anyway. Like it's great for charting. You see the amount of issues I have on it. I would advise you execute with either directly on Tradeify, all right, on their web-based platform if you're on Mac, or download NinjaTrader or something else where you directly connect into it. One day you'll have a relationship with props and brokers too. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a relationship. Most of them I ignore. Only the ones that you see me talk about. I have a very good relationship with NinjaTrader. I'll be honest with you; they've been asking me to come and do some work on the show for over a year now, but I just have too much going on in my life right now, making it very hard. Like I've been invited to Chicago. It happens to be when I'm moving house. I mean, it's literally sod's law. You can't make this shit up right now. The last event was when I took a break. This one's when I'm moving house. Eventually, I'll get to go and spend some time with Ryan and the team. I won't be. This is what I've said. I won't be leaving this channel. There's no way I'm not doing this. But maybe I'll do the odd educational thing for them. I'm not really interested in sitting in afternoon sessions, but we'll figure it out. You watch NT in the afternoon, yeah. Yeah, some good dudes over there. Well, this is fun, isn't it, team? Right, how are we doing on the likes? Should we do some giveaways? We've got to be there now. We've got to be there. I haven't checked for a minute. Right, we're good enough for an Apex giveaway. And then we'll see if we can get up for a Lucid or My Funded Futures. All right, let's make this chat happy. We've got to do a giveaway because you guys are being good just hanging around. It's boring today, isn't it? All right, as always, FZT in chat. For your chance to win a free Apex account, just type it once. That's the code to use on all your favorite prop firms. Other than Take Profit Trader, you can use code FlowZone. Just type it once, folks. You don't need to spam it. If you spam it, you get pulled out of it. All right, just type it once. All right, should pull this winner. Here we go, folks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think this is an OG. Maurice DeJoy. 7535. I recognize that name. I think you've been in here a while. Maurice, are you here, Maurice? Yeah, nice, Maurice. All right, you know the score. Send me that email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Screenshot of you logged into YouTube. I will sort you out with a free Apex account. Congratulations. You can use it on anyone you want. Now that they've got Legacy back, if you wanted to do it on Legacy, you can. If you want to do it on End of Day, you can. You can use any type that you want. Okay, so the market's still back and forwards in the node. You can see why I'm like just genuinely not too fussed today. Right, if you think you've missed something today, you think, why are we being so still? This is all you're really trading at the moment. Your max is like 157 points. Most of the range today has been achieved in here, 62 points. This is like, I am quite happy to sit still in this market. Did they get rid of Legacy? Yeah, they did, but they're back at the moment. They only bring them back for limited time. I wouldn't be surprised if they're bringing them back. I'm assuming that people like them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring them back permanently if that's the case. I just look at that H1 and just think, it just doesn't attract me to do anything. That is just, nope. We are getting very, very tight. We are getting very, very tight in here. And earnings come when we're here. We're going to get some form of fireworks. I've got no doubt about it. £100 max and missed it. I mean, nothing missed, mate. I wouldn't worry. When you compare like to what's become available in previous sessions. Right, this was not a bad opportunity yesterday. That was great if you got that bit. That was not a bad opportunity, and since then we've not really done a lot. I'd say Globex, that was a nice opportunity. The bid back wasn't bad either. Since then we're still in here. It's okay. when we can't trade every single day. This is very rare that I basically never pull the trigger. This is one of the days it feels like where I think I've had like, where was it? Here and a stop. And I think it was here and a stop. And that's kind of it. I did have a piece on from overnight. So green one account, little bit red one account. That's it. Everything else is flat. It's just nothing. It ain't nada to do. Yes, staying to the plan and respecting it. What I said, I'm not going to trade the grey box, right? I am not going to trade this move here, all right? I'll trade under here for a bid back. I'll even be willing to fade this leg down into this. I'll be willing to bid this above it. I'm going to avoid this, right? Alex doesn't trade that well, so he's leaving it alone. Amateur hour traders, I promise you, I guarantee you, there is a ton of people blowing up in here right now. Even though it's not really moving that far, you'd be surprised how many people slam full size short in here, slam full size again, get blown out, slam short again, get blown out, get up here, slam full size long, get collapsed on, slam full size long again, get collapsed on, then try and slam full size short again, get it rip on them. Like, you'll be surprised how many people get chopped up in there because they simply can't come to the market at the beginning of the day and identify that it's very unlikely the market moves outside of this or even outside of this, right? And these were here from pre-market for you. That's very, even if you can't see anything else, just watch the trend lines. Like, we are getting tighter. Quit talking about me. If that was you, just make sure it's a learning lesson, right? If you might be newer in your trading career, make sure it's a learning lesson. Tired, man. All right, we got 30 minutes left. I really want to do some more giveaways for you guys because you've been pretty good staying. If we can get another 400 likes on the stream, I'll leave it up to you. You can choose what we're going to do, whether we do a My Funded Futures or a Lucid. Oh, it's still going to short failure under the grey box. I mean, I'm less and less interested in it. Half an hour into lunch, I'm less and less interested in this market in general. Like, it's a mirror. Yeah, there's just not much edge here for me. It's not much. There's just a lack of edge. Just don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't. Simple answer is no, isn't it? Sorry, I have to think it through sometimes. No, I don't think I will be taking another trade here. I just don't. I cannot see the edge in the market right now. How am I lining up for post and video? Do I leave it alone? Well, I want to see what the market reaction is. First of all, I want to see the numbers. Is it a beat or not? Then I want to see the guidance. Then I want to see if we trade into any of the big walls and then see the reaction there. And then we can make some decisions. And then we're going to have to wait for Jackson Hole. I mean, what comments do we get on Friday from Walsh? Not heard from CME yet. Yeah, I mean, funny that. I tagged them to a post. I don't know if you saw that. I tagged a post yesterday on X. Didn't hear from any of them. Funny that, isn't it? It's definitely a CME thing. Yeah, Alex, I agree. Historically, we always print up and then give back. The only thing they've market makers have positioned Nvidia perfectly, like we talked about, into earnings, right? They have literally positioned it perfectly into earnings right now. Right, pinned perfectly between the extremes. Buyers want to hold this. There's your wall. There's your wall. There's the extreme. It's positioned perfectly to make sure no one feels like they've got too much edge. I would agree with you. I would be watching the margins, and I wonder if we're going to start having some liquidity and debt kind of issues. And I also I'm interested in what questions are posed during the earning call and a reaction to it. The only thing I would say is the PE ratio is not too high. I think we're at like 30 right now. When you look at it compared to, I mean, it's not leader of the pack anymore, right? We didn't get the monstrous run like AMD got, right? And AMD, it doesn't look great, but it is holding on. And the same for like Micron. And you wonder how much of the leverage, I went over this in Discord yesterday, you wonder how much of the leverage has come out of the market. Because if we look at the triples, right, you can see that anyone who is over leveraged at the top has been rinsed out this market, right? All the way back down. We're talking about like a 2-3 year consolidation period here where we broke out from and we're coming back down towards, right? And I wonder, I don't think we get all the way down here. If we do, I'm full port in, right? But the reason I'm saying this, look at the triples and then look at the equal weighted. Look how different they look. Right? This extra move here is all margin. Just let that sink in again. This is equal weighted. This is the same thing, but this is equal weighted. That's the triples. This are people over leveraged. And I wonder once they get washed out, and maybe they already are washed out, if the bid starts to form in Q4 again. So that's why I'm really interested in the response on Nvidia more than anything. There you go. It's a bit of insight into how I'm thinking. Alex, are these manually drawn zones? What the boxes? Yes, sir, they are. Yeah, everything's done manually. It's not hard to do, so get in the habit of doing it. Let's refresh that because that close has just gone weird. Am I staying on to Nvidia? No chance, mate. I'm getting out of there. Can I keep title ticker on the screen? Why? You know what I'm trading? I'm trading NQ. If I'm looking at something, I'll say what it is. So if you're asking what the leverage was, SOXL. If you're asking what the equal weighted is, SOXX. Yeah, that's it, Henry. I mean, look, leverage and margin are the issues, right, in this market. Everyone, it's fine to be leveraged up, right? Leverage works two ways, right? You compound your growth. So everyone's leveraged up for this huge move since like April last year, right? Full size, adding to winners, over leveraged, borrowing money. It's fine all the time, it's working. But when it doesn't work, Leopold, then you see what happens. You get liquidation events. I explained so fast, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where will I buy Nvidia? I am not buying any. I'm not buying anywhere in the next few sessions. That's for sure. If I feel like we break down, and come into a very reasonable level for a long-term buy and hold, I'm interested. If there's a big beat and we base out above key levels the next week or so, I'm interested. Otherwise I'm just not. I'm just not interested in it right now. I think there's other sectors which are moving nicer. I have some exposure in DRAM, right? So it's not like I don't have any exposure in it. Alex, while we have some time, I've heard tons ask about the boxes. Can you do a quick demo of when you draw them and how to find those values? Yeah, so look, if it's a grey box on my screen, chances are it's a high volume node, right? So everything I do always starts on what? We go over it every day. What chart do I always start on, folks? The first chart I start on every day. Here it is, the daily. What's the grey box? It's your 2026 high volume node. All right, so for me, technically speaking, we have sell pressure underneath this node. The bigger issue is the node's getting bigger and bigger because the more time we spend here, the more this will thicken out, right? Beyond that, I'm looking, if you're looking at these white squiggly lines, those are anchored VWAPs off key pivot points. One's off the all-time high here, which we're below. So we now know anyone that's bought since the all-time high is under pressure. No shit, Sherlock. But anyone that sold that all-time high and started averaging in is positioned at the edge of this grey box. Okay. Anyone who bought the pivot low down here from March and bid back up, right, i.e. all the leveraged players, they are still in the money until 8:30, which just happens to be the put wall. All right. So that's the edge. If we look at this here, that's the edge of the LVN. All right. So if we come down there and find a bid, then it's saying, well, these guys are willing to bid and we're willing to hold. And then I think the Bollinger Band would be there anyway. The last one is from this low that we put in sort of end of July. And any buyer who bought from there and bid up, all right, is under pressure. So we are basically pinned right now. And it's very simple. We're pinned from the edge of this grey box to a maximum right now of here, which is also the weekly expected move. Right, this is the pin this week at the moment. We come under there, it gets nasty. All right, it potentially gets nasty. I'm not convinced this low's in. I want to be convinced, but I'm not. The only way I'm going to be convinced is if they put in a low, reclaim this and start building out. All right, then I'll be convinced. Until that point, I'm not. So the grey boxes represent the high volume nodes. We then go to the hourly chart. On the hourly chart, I'm looking at what? I'm always looking at previous week's volume area, or value area, sorry, and current week. Right, so we can see in the current week, we are building out a high volume node. Up here, we have an old point of control, which is also the expected move from pre-market. All right, and the red boxes are areas of what? Supply. How do we know they're supply? Well, thin, and there'll be rejection points. Thin, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance. All right, key level, support, resistance, resistance, low volume node. Do you see the confluence? All right. I didn't put a red box at the high of this today. I put a purple box, not because it's not supply. It clearly is above this edge. We clearly have rejection points there. It's more that I put it in as an expected move. That's the max move I'm expecting today if they do go up there for today. Right, if they get through that, up to this one. Green or blue is support systems, right? So again, expected move today. I put the green in down here. That's the max move. I didn't need to put a blue as well because I know where it is. Lines on the chart are showing the pin in on the H1. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, blue line. I rarely do these, but I did it to make it very obvious for you today. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, red line. There's your pin. All right, and in here, high volume node. So once we zoom this into lower time frame, we can then get more accurate with it, can't we? And we can move that high volume node from the hourly, looked on current week, to today. So if I wanted to make this tighter, I could just do it to here now, couldn't I? All right, that's your Really high volume part today. Or maybe we do it yellow so you can see it a bit easier. There you go. All right. When we're in range rotation, what are we looking for? The easiest moves are to fade edges. The easiest moves are to fade the edges, right? Are to buy this dip back in. It's to fade that back down. It's to buy that back up. It's to fade this back down, right? But as we get tighter and build more and more out, we've got less and less and less and less and less and less room to do something. Now, my whole strategy and how I like to base is based on expansion. That's my main setup. So I prefer to wait for the market to come under these, prove to me it can stay heavy, and look for an expansion model. Come above this, prove it can stay in a bid, and look for that expansion model, which here would be back above this from yesterday. All right, I don't want to trade inside this from yesterday because it's messy. Doesn't mean you have to be the same as me. That's how I limit my trading. That's how I avoid over trading. Have you ever considered swings of non-US ETFs, emerging markets and stuff? Yeah, I've considered it. I don't have any position on right now. Is bio gone and done? It's definitely gone. It's definitely happened. Has it got anything left in it? I don't know, mate. That was a big move. It was a very big move. It's holding very well here. All the time over 160, it's got a chance. You're saying it's got a chance. It's got a chance all the time over 160. Yeah, that LVN. All the time over this, it's got a chance, right? There's your structure. Here. It's got a chance. Do I like the bid there? I don't like the bid there, mate. We like bio bidding out of these areas, out of these areas, out of these areas. I think it would have to consolidate here a long time, and it's kind of dangerous for a bid up there. Remember, we're rotation at this point, right? It found strength the same way, exactly the same way we rotated and found strength here, right? Out of long periods of consolidation, rotation, strength, right? Same way. So I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. I'm certainly not a new money long at any of these regions on bio. Maybe in some individual names, right? Maybe there's some names within that sector which are worth looking at. But as an ETF, I wouldn't be a new money long right now. Do I think we'll see a gold rally in the future? Mate, it all depends what the Fed do. It's already had a nice bid. I'm not convinced it's over, but like, who knows? You know, when they, I don't know if you saw that in the interview when they asked about Besant and what he did with bonds. When they asked Trump, he's like, oh, he's got lots of tools to use. And they were like, what are some of his other tools? And his answer to what some of the other tools to have meaningful impacts on the bonds and treasuries. Does anyone know his answer to that? Does anyone know his answer? It was shocking. I want to see if you guys watched the interview. Does anyone know Trump's answer to what tools? Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Thank you. His answer to what Besant can do was, we've got the military. Sorry, what? What? The fuck are we doing with the military? What the fuck are we doing with the military to control the bonds? What just happened? What just happened? You think he forgot what he was talking about? I mean, I fucking hope so, Charlie, because otherwise I don't understand what we're going to do. Yeah. Buy our bonds or we'll blow you up. He was killed like a dog. Like a dog. Oh, there's the rotation. Hello, rotation. Did we just fail to break out the top side again? Yes, we did. Back down inside again. Do. How many people are getting super upset yet? You got it. Nice. Anyone that's trading the edges, like we just talked about, we trade edge to edge, edge to edge. You want to be covering some middle always, right? So if you're bidding this, right, you always want to take a piece out here and look to get that. If you sell that, you take a piece out here, you look to get this. If you buy this, you take a piece out here, you look to get this. If you sell this, take a piece out here, and you look to get this. All right, and there you go. We are literally just, there is previous day's value. There is previous day's value. This is where we're stuck. Surprise, surprise. It might be news, but it's also based on where we are. News can rattle markets, but positioning, you have to understand it's positioning into that news that matters. Putin said to plan Ukraine escalation, seeing talks to be fruitless. Where's that? What's the source, though? What is the source for that? No, financial juice isn't the source. Financial juice regurgitates the news. The source has to come from somewhere else, is what I'm saying. Has that come? What I'm trying to say is, has that come out of Putin's mouth, or has that come from like Wall Street Journal, etc., etc.? Because there's no quote on it on financial juice. That's what I'm saying. What source? You got the sauce. Too much sauce. What a name. I'm not going to say that name out. Your YouTube name is Vote is Jokes. Boris Whitaker, mate. Savage. Any trading book recommendations? Tons and tons. But what do you want to learn? I think the best thing to learn from trading books is less strategy based. I like listening to stories. It's the best thing. I'm going to have to get out of here soon, folks. Just got a message which I'm going to have to deal with. Tom Hogard, yeah, Best Loser Wins, good book. It's all the usual suspects, man. It's literally all the. I'd read every single one of the Market Wizards. You'll take some good things away from that. I like my favorite non-trading book for trading is Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. The World is for Sale, Fooled by Randomness, Mastery of the Mental Game. Trying to think what else. What else did I have on here that I've read? Mental Game of Trading, Jared Tendler, Atomic Habits, Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell. And then I'd say anything which helps you with your being mentally mentally resilient and adaptable. I'd say any book that you find you can relate to for that stuff. I like reading like SAS stuff for that. Might sound funny, but that's what I like reading for that. Finding inspiration from people who are able to go beyond what's capable of normal humans, or what we think is capable of normal humans, and battling through incredibly tough situations. I think the best traders are resilient traders. If you're not going to make it as a trader if you can't find resilience, right? If you can't find control and you can't find resilience, it's literally, picture someone in the SAS or SBS or whatever you want to call. Let's say they're in a situation where, you know, they're stuck solo, they're in a sniper situation, they're surrounded, and they need to slowly take out everyone else to protect their own lives and other people's. Okay, they can't go fucking storming into a situation with an M4 thinking they're going to get out of it. It needs to be strategic, right? That's trading. We sit on our hands. We wait for the perfect opportunity to take the shot. We take the shot. We secure the bag, right? When things go completely tits up, which they inevitably will do at some point in your trading career, things will go tits up. It's about having composure enough to get out the trade, mentally reset, all right? For them, it'd be like having the composure to, you know, find a safe situation, compose themselves, go through their rations, make sure they've got enough supplies. Can they get out of that situation? Stuff like that, I think, can be very useful. How did you leave a 9 to 5, mate? I never had a 9 to 5. I've never, ever, ever, ever had a 9 to 5. I've always worked for myself, or I've done some like ad hoc type work. Rogue Heroes, yeah, I loved it. I want the new series. Jack's so good in that. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that show. Yeah, really good. All right, grey box still being rotated, right? What did we talk about? Did we say it was a mirror? Right, do you want to see this mirror? Here. Failed breakdown under, failed breakdown over, smaller failed breakdown under, smaller failed breakdown over, right? This is literally a mirror right now. Right? This is what people fail to understand when they get caught in it. Tips to get out of 9 to 5, man. You're just going to have to learn a skill, whether it's this or something else. And you're going to have to build a side business slowly. What you don't want to do is leave something too early, because you are going to apply too much pressure to yourself. If you leave your 9 to 5 without having sufficient funds to look after yourself and your loved ones for 3 to 6 months minimum, then you are going to apply too much pressure on yourself to make it in something which you might not have an adequate skill in. You want to be able to leave your 9 to 5 and replace it. Let's say it is with trading. Trading needs to start to get to the point where you are consistently making as much money as you do in your 9 to 5, if not more. Otherwise, that pressure will build on you far too quick. Far too quick. All right, delta divergence is these lows. We're going to try and trade into previous day value area low. And if they lose this bid, potentially back down again. And if they hold this bid or they fail to break lower, then potentially back up again, right? You're into the other side of the edge. So the same things here. I won't be trading this. We're into lunch now. But these are the trades now. Something like this to trade down here, or something like this to trade up here. Maybe they chop that again. Maybe they lose the bid there. Maybe they get back over it. I genuinely couldn't give a rat's ass right now. This can do whatever it wants. But if you were in short from the top, you should be out 80+%, and you can try and hold runners just in case they come down here, right? You can try and hold some runners just in case they come down there for you, but you should be out most of your money at this point. I know we've already read the news on Putin. We already read it. So if you are short, you will need this to reject 210 to 225 to trade lower. There are unfinished auctions underneath. We talked about them earlier down here, that there are, this low of day is not that great. They can come and clean it up, which is why I was considering it earlier, but we're into lunch now. I'll wait a couple more minutes with you here, and then I actually have to get out. So there's a first unfinished auction here is at 91s. And once you get through that, you could look for new lows. There's the 91s taken. And if they're only going to repair that, you won't get the lows. But hopefully you can get a new low of day here for you guys on the runners. Semis back down into their New York Open as well. Mag approaching low of day. So it's gone from high of day to low of day. Absolutely hilarious. Right, before I go, even though you didn't get me there, I know there's less people here today, we will give away. We're going to do a My Funded Futures giveaway, folks. All right. So we'll do it again in chat. FZT is the code, and then I'm going to get out of here. Just type it once. I'm going to give away a My Funded Futures end of day rapid account here, just into lunch, and then I've got to get out of here. All right, now I would watch here for those of you who are short that you need to see them reject sort of 210s to 225s. If they don't do that, they're going to lift straight back up into this high volume node above. All right, so those of you who are holding short, you will need to see a rejection here. Otherwise, this will lift straight back into the gray zone again. Do not be surprised if it does that. Really do not be surprised if it does that at all. But for you guys holding on that 10-20%, hopefully they reject 210 to 225 for you to get a new low of day. This was the trade I was looking for earlier, but we're in lunch now. I have to go and get my wife and my dog. Luna has decided she's been very belligerent. She doesn't want to walk. I wonder if it's because she's got funny about Jess being bitten. Right, here's the 210. So here to 225 is your level. All right, and they're going to need to reject somewhere up here for you guys. Otherwise, this returns back in. Okay, I'm going to pull this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dangens 25. Sorry if I've said that wrong. Dangens 25. Maybe that's how you say it. Dangens 25. Be in My Funded Futures account. Nice, mate. Congratulations. All right. My Funded Futures rapid end of day on the way to you. All you've got to do is email me, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot if you logged in. Hey, Reptile, that's very kind of you. Look at that, with the free membership for everyone. All right, folks, that's it for me today. All right, this is what I'd have you prepared for the rest of the day. You are getting tighter and tighter. Think about what the H1 is doing, these blue and red lines. Think about what we're doing intraday, even tighter, right? We can keep rotating. If you are in short from here, you can look to see if they are willing to fade this down to here. Then you want to be done with it. If you're looking for longs, right, you'll need to see this reprice and hold. The problem is now your target's getting narrower and narrower, all right? So you'd need like 210, 220, and you're really looking for 20 points, and that's it. And if they get above, you can look for the other side. You do not want to overstay your welcome today. I would really, really, really advise you limit your trading today. Tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, next week, much, much, much easier. Today is all about trapping liquidity. Do not become one of the people trapped. I know I haven't traded really today, apart from that 1 or 2 attempts for very, very small losses, or break even, or +1 and then break even. In the first one, I think I gave away like 5 points or something. It's for a reason, okay? It is absolutely for a reason. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Trade safe. I'll check in with Discord after lunch. I don't think there's anything I need to say here that you don't already know. We know what we're expecting. Peace and love, everyone. Trade safe. Use hard stops. You got to use hard stops. Take care.